like basically it lets you do things that normally would be heavily regulated and do it in an unregulated way. But for journalism, it doesn't seem to apply because journalism isn't really regulated anyways. I mean, it could disrupt the industry. So like from an economic perspective, you know, if there is the potential, but yeah, in general, I don't know. It just sort of democratizes fact checking, or at least it means like you can have one good fact checking system that works for everything instead of every like news organization having their own independent. You could just have one like kind of global fact checking unit that does everything.
Like kind of like Google is like, I mean, there's other search engines, but most people don't really use them. Like, isn't that kind of a bad thing? Or something that lots of people think is as a bad thing, like that kind of monopoly?
Right.
Like, does
So,
blockchain take that out of the equation because it's a bunch of different actors? It's not like really a monopoly because it, or I don't know.
yeah, exactly. So it's true. So you turn from like having, like, here's the thought experiment. So you have a system and there's 10 people that run it, right? Or you have the system where there's one entity that runs it, but that entity is a consortium and the consortium has 1,000 members or whatever, but it's still one consortium. So is that a monopoly or not? So they're kind of different structures, and I don't know which one's better or worse. And people argue about it because Bitcoin mining is like that. Like it now there's like 3 or 4 consortiums and they basically are a monopoly for Bitcoin mining. But the consortiums themselves are made up of thousands of members that could leave the consortium if they didn't like what the consortium does, right?
Well, I could see like a journalistic consortium like excluding certain areas of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And I could see that could be viewed as like a negative thing.
Yeah, and so then the question is, would the members leave the consortium because of that kind of thing, right? So consortiums are weird because they get a lot of power. Like, yeah, when they get that monopoly, they have power, but they also have to please the members of the consortium. Otherwise, the consortium people can leave. And blockchain consortiums are very easy to like leave and reorganize. So if you don't like what your consortium's doing, it's almost trivial to just start a new consortium and then everyone will pile on to that one. So I think you're still at the end of the day subject to like what the members of the consortium want. But the consortium too can like do things in subtle ways that like its members aren't really fully informed about what the consortium is doing and things like that. So that's a little more dangerous.